Lamont just put some stuff in his face. What you chewing on? What you chewing? We can hear you chewing. Okay, that's better, I guess. I can still see your mouth movement. Crunch, 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 crunch.
Well, it's one of those, it's a mime, when you're just moving around and you can see my mouth moving, but no words are coming out. I'm
Is that what
practicing
it is?
for the circus. Yeah.
All
People
right.
in the circus make pretty good money, so, might be my next gig.
The circus for real? Nah. Your talents far supersede that of a circus.
Well, sometimes you have to niche down a little bit.
I guess. All right, man. Take it away. Take it away. We're
Well,
live everywhere.
we live everywhere, and welcome Facebook, welcome YouTube as usual. We're back, and I'm back from my 2 week hiatus. I had some things going on for the moment. My name is Lamont Braithwaite, and I want to just say it's a pleasure to be back. And I want to make sure I bring my specialist ingenuity into the podcast today. So I know it's been a long time coming. But as always, let metrics build your business.
There you go. There you go. That was good. That was really, really good. I like the way you kept it kind of short there, but it still had a lot of emphasis and poise. That was fantastic. Yeah.
It's a work in
Good morning,
progress.
everybody. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Riverside. Good morning, everywhere, everyone. I'm Bob G, your website specialist, and today we're gonna have a pair of guests. I don't think we've had that before, a pair of guests at the same time. So
Nice. First time for everything, man.
yeah, yeah. So we've got Jessica McEwen and Phil Clark coming back to you live from the backstage.
Oh yeah.
What's
Hello,
up?
everybody.
The good
What's
folks are
going
here
on?
today. How y'all doing? Yeah.
Doing
Doing
great.
On your side of
fantastic up
town, I
here.
bet you the sun is bright, the sun is shining, the wind is blowing, and it's cold as heck over here in
It's
Germany,
not that
right?
cold up here. We're up in Canada. It's not too
Ah,
bad. The weather's actually coming around.
That's
well,
awesome.
I'm gonna need y'all to
Eh,
send some of that El Nino my way, and I'll be happy. Because right now this bipolarish weather here is a little bit unpredictable, and I think I'm scheduled to be sick next week. I have to check my calendar on that, see if it's legit or not.
you were just sick for 2 weeks playing football.
I wasn't sick. I was having the best time of my life. When we win, everything is good, But when we lose, I blame it on the sickness.
There you go. There you go.
So
So we got Phil, we've got Jessica. Thank you guys very much for joining us this beautiful Saturday morning on Caps and Conversations. It was very cool, like getting to meet you guys digitally, of course, and we really wanted to know and have you on the show, like what the idea is behind the mindset marketers, and basically like where it all originated from. So I'm gonna take a stab in the dark here. You guys didn't always have the mindset marketers. You guys didn't weren't always entrepreneurs. At some point in your time, you started off with like a regular job doing something. So why don't we start there at the beginning? What were your jobs? What did you do? What led you to want to become entrepreneurs?
You can start it off there, Phil.
All right. So thanks for having us on, guys. Appreciate y'all. This is cool.
pleasure, pleasure.
I've started. So basically, I was in the retail industry for almost 20 years, right? 16 with one company, and then got two or three with other multiple different companies. But regardless of that, just like anybody else who you hear people talking online, sick and tired of the politics of corporate America, the 9 to 5, all that stuff. Well, I had finally had my breaking point one day, and I was already on the edge of wanting to do something. So I decided I just went all in. Like, I don't recommend people doing that, but I left my job. Fortunately, had a nice little nest egg saved up in my 401k. So I took that out and took a little bit of a hit on that, and I dove head first and learning marketing and sales. Then and entered the room this lovely lady here, Miss Jessica, and we started collaborating and working together on several different things. One thing led to another. The mindset marketers were formed, and we just keep showing up daily.
Awesome.
That's
That's
right.
fantastic. I want to break that down just a little bit because like you touched a nerve with me saying that you were in the retail space. What retail space were you in?
So I worked when I originally started. First job was for EB Games before they merged with GameStop back in the day. So
Okay.
they were called EB Games Electronic Boutique,
Yes, I remember.
and started there. Ended up becoming a key holder position very quickly. I guess they were hurting to hire people because they had this little 17-year-old kid fresh out of high school. They're already giving store keys to, you know.
Wow.
Um, anyways, that passed. I ended up working in a assembly line factory for a very short amount of time. Then I got hired at Costco. So Costco is
Yeah.
where I did my majority.
So Costco is like it's really big, and one of the things that I've noticed with them, like as far as like their business model goes, is it's very similar to BJ's, very similar to Sam's Club, the big box, food and retail stuff that they have there. Like the efficiency that Costco has blows my mind. Like there is not a minute in the day that the Costco that's approximately 9, 10 miles away from my house is jam packed. I mean, jam packed. Like you cannot find you're parking like 5 stores down in order to get to Costco, and then you're thinking like, geez, I'm gonna be here, at least half the day, and before you know it, you go and grab your stuff and you're out the store. Like the efficiency blows my mind. That is absolutely amazing. So, what did you do in Costco?
Oh my goodness, yeah. I What did I not do that would be easier to answer? So, like I said, I was there for almost 16 years. So, when I started, I was in merchandising, so stocking the shelves, if for simpler terms. Um, from there, I moved up to becoming a forklift operator. So, I drove a forklift for several years. Then I eventually moved up to a supervisor. So I was supervisor on the front end, like over the cashiers, helping run the front end. I went into the bakery for a while. I was supervisor in there, which I did not like that. That was rough. Got out of there. I worked in pretty much every department except for the tire center. So I had a little bit of experience everywhere in there. They told us there this is one thing that burned me up when they'd say this to us, and I get it, I understand it, but they'd always be like, you're an employee for Costco, you're not a cart pusher for Costco, you're an employee for Costco. So they expected us to fall in line where they needed us, which is fine. I
Aha.
get it. I get it, but that was one of those things that was always like
Yeah, yeah,
they take from the good ones who, you know, want to get their work done, and they punish them by giving them more work, so to speak. Not
yes,
punish, but you know what I
yes.
mean.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's the mindset that a lot of people have that work like not just retail jobs, but basic 9 to 5s. They look at the company as more of a lifeline than just like an employment situation, and they want to give, they want to help, they want to do their job right. And that just breaks down to like your work ethic. You have to have a phenomenal work ethic overall
Yeah.
to for them to select you out like that. But yeah, I can see exactly what you're talking about when you get picked out like that, and it's like, well, hold on a second. I'm here like devoting a certain part of my life to you guys, the ultra rich, and you got to that tipping point to where it's like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. Is that where you set off to go on your own, to have your own business?
Yeah, pretty much. I had growing up, my dad always ran his own business, so I kind of already had it in my blood to like run my own thing and do my own thing. And then one day, you just said the words. Really, one of my managers just set me off, and like within the next week, I had already went and gave him my 2 weeks notice. Walked into the warehouse manager's office and was like, where do I put this letter? She's like, what letter is that? I said, it's my 2 weeks notice. And like three of the big managers turned around because you got a 16-year employee walking in there.
Yeah.
I'm all right. All right. I'm doing all right at that point. No reason that I should have left other than wanting to. And they all turned around and looked at me. They're like, what? So they tried to talk me out of it. But yeah, long story short, I was set off by one little thing a manager said to me, which was basically looked at me one day. I was helping make pizzas in the food court, and they looked at me and they said, deal with it, because I needed help.
Oh yeah, see.
They wouldn't give me help. I said, all right, I'll show you. I'll deal with it.
There you go. There you
So I
go.
just took
And
control.
that can be, it could be simple as that. Straw that broke the camel's back, because you hear a lot of stories of, I don't want to say much as mistreatment, but that's exactly what it is. You can spend your whole life, working for, a company, and I expect them to treat you accordingly, as the years grow. You know, treat me like something of value, not just an employee number.
I was
And
just gonna
I
say that
think
something other than a
I,
number.
other than a number, because you have to be there on time, you have to clock in like you're supposed to, or you're going to have this little sit down talk, and hey, you've been late 5 minutes last week. Well, traffic. Oh, maybe you can leave a little early. I don't think, you know, whether you're pushing carts or making pizza, as you say, I don't think 5 minutes is going to hurt anything. But, you know, rules is rules. And then if you break those rules, okay, well, I got another employee that I can hire. We don't really need you anymore. And it's like, whether you want to leave or whether they had enough and they want to push you out, they can do it at any time. And that was my biggest main reason why I said, you know what, let me build for myself, and the only person that can fire me is me. So, you know, a lot of people take that, and I bet on me any day of the week, you know. But if I fail, it's a lesson learned. But if you get fired from a job, they were like, oh, then you start to have that little mindset of saying, oh, well, maybe I'm not worth it. But you have to be strong enough to say, okay, I am worth it. I am worth more. And now you're into something big. But we're going to get to that in a minute, because now we need to switch reels and we need to go,
Yes, we do.
Jessica, because I know you got a story too as well.
Oh my
You know,
goodness, yeah.
everybody has those jobs before. What was your point where you just said, you know what, enough is enough?
Actually, there's not really a point that said I said enough is enough, because like as you know right now, I'm still full time in the military. So I
Okay.
still have my job. And I was working as a massage therapist for years as well too on the side. I'm one of those Jill of all trades, if you could
Mm-hmm.
think of it that way. And I love that. I love the challenge. But it wasn't enough of, okay, so enough uh, that point, that breaking point, that was when more of not entrepreneurial side of things, more it was more of the mindset side of things.
Uh-huh.
That's there's something that like hit me, and that was where like that transitioned me, and then I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to get my voice out there, and that's what made it like, how am I supposed to do that, right? Besides making a name for myself, making a brand for myself, and getting my voice out there. And there's so many different ways to do that. One being like you have to run your own business and work and collaborate with
Mm-hmm.
people in the online industry. So that's how I went that way. But it was a little over 3 years ago was my breaking point. I I was drinking a lot, so that was just a lifestyle that I was way too used to, and I was getting super tired of it. So
Mm-hmm.
being in the military up here in Canada, I don't know what it's like down in the US, but they have this program that it's like a coffee house program, and pretty much I get taken out of my place of duty, and for a month straight my place of duty is getting help with a group therapy. It's like addictions preventative treatment therapy. It's super freaking intense, and it was mind blowing for me. Like the stuff that they were teaching me in there was absolutely mind blowing, and I was it 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 triggered this fire inside me that I was just like, why are we not taught this stuff growing up, like in school? like learning about limiting beliefs, about like how your mind works, how the brain works, and just how to be able to talk about this stuff, that you're not alone and all this kind of stuff. So I was just so fired up that I just started diving deep into anything, like how to speak in public, how to get my voice out there, all kinds of stuff like that. Like, so and also another reason why I got so mad about it, all of this, is because I'm getting essentially paid to go get help because I'm still at my place of duty, right? Like they're taking me out, but I'm still getting paid because it's a salary income and they're helping me doing this. And I was like, there's other people that they don't get help until they need the help. And by then their lives are effed already. You know what I mean? So, and and to get the help, they have to pay out of pocket. And they're also on like a 2-year waiting list.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
just like, oh, like, so, and another reason why I'm getting fired up now is because what Phil and I do now is we are really diving deep into AI. Like as soon as ChatGPT was released to the public back in November 2022, I was like, all right, I'm doing this. And I dove in and I started learning. And that's why like we're so efficient with ChatGPT for one. But the thing is now we're learning more and more, and I'm seeing more and more how people are like AI, or like it's my new therapist. And I'm like, yes. And I talk to so many people. It's like, instead of trying to just be my own voice, trying to share this all out there, we're diving more into like AI and how to be able to talk to AI and how to like get it to talk to
Yeah.
you in your voice. And that's where we're all like, we're kind of leaning more towards too now. So it's, I get sorry, I get so fired up with like
No, no,
talking about
no.
all that.
Get that. I like that fired up aspect of you because it's a lot of people. I want to say it's a split right now. It's 50% of the people say, AI is not worth it, or it's not going to work, or it's not going to. I don't want to say replace people, but pretty much it's going to replace
Oh yeah.
certain
You
aspects
have those people
of
out
how
there
you
that
use
think
it.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the world is ever changing, and AI, once it came on the scene, it came in like gangbusters. For one, and a lot of people are still afraid of it. I use it primarily to, generate more ideas because I was stuck a few times in this, that, and the other, how to put a business together, or I like to see things work, I was missing the connecting dots all over. And when I say that, it caused me to buy into so many programs where if I would have had AI 10 years ago, I could have saved a whole lot of money. Because for one, because for one, some of the business structures they give you enough, but they don't give you that much. They give you enough to get to point, let's say B. But if you want to go to point C, then there's a different road or a different avenue. Now I was getting stuck in between point A and B because they will give you so bits and pieces and you have to put it together. But if you want to put it all together, buy this coaching program for 50,000, or you know what, I'm all about investing in yourself. But let me crawl before I walk. I want to learn about how to build from A to Z, but I don't want to go from A to Z and just say, okay, I'm just going to throw a bunch of money at it. And this is where AI has taught me a lot because I'm finishing processes on several businesses that I'm currently building. And if it wasn't for AI, it might have took maybe 3-4 years. So how is AI helping you build your business here today? And do you see any changes that, from let's say 2-3 years ago or to 10 years ago? If you was
Well,
in that space 10 years ago, you see a major difference. Let's
right.
talk about that a little bit because a lot of people don't really want to listen to it. They just want to say, "Oh, it's just out there. I don't want to use it because it's going to do this. It's going to do this. I want to do the manual. I want to spend 10 years building a business." Nobody wants to do that anymore.
No, not at all. No. I just wanted to say, I'm gonna let Phil probably run with this a little bit too, but I wanted to say about like one of my favorite things when it comes to AI is you don't have to be like on that one side or the other. You're saying the 50-50, right? So a lot of people are scared
Mm.
of it and everything like that because of maybe religion or spirituality and stuff like that. I am so spiritual, especially now that I hit that 3 year mark ago or 3 years ago. I dove deep into the spiritual side of myself, and I blend those two. There's such a way that you can blend them so well. Like I like to say that spirituality, like it helped me listen and to like understand my intuition, my gut feelings and stuff like that. You know what? AI though helped me ask the right questions.
Yeah.
I love to say that because it is so true. Like, you're just having a conversation with AI and you want to take it down that route, you can like expand so many doors. But I'll let AI go,
awesome.
or AI. I'll let Phil go for a little bit, talking the AI route and how it's helped us and how it's helping our business right now.
Full disclaimer here: Phil is not AI generated. He is a real person.
Real person in the flesh. My hat comes off, but we're leaving it on.
Yeah, yeah, we got to put it out just in case, I make some clips and they, especially Facebook, is this
Oh
AI
no,
generated? No, no, it's not AI generated. This is
Oh,
completely, human,
that is funny because
but
we do have two AI twins that we utilize every now and then. I have one named Stephanie, and he's got one named George. Like completely, it
That's
looks
awesome.
just like us too.
it's
That's
crazy.
awesome.
okay, George. Okay, George, take the floor.
Hi, my name is George. Welcome. Thanks for hopping in. No,
Ah,
it's it's crazy just the technology itself. So, like you said, Lamont, 10 years ago, if we would have had this, there's no telling where we would be at this point. Because I think about things
yeah,
I could have done and the knowledge base that we all would have had access to. Even 5 years ago when we had the whole big shutdown, the whole world shut down for that whole thing. We won't say any words on that, but the
yeah,
whole world shut down basically, and everyone's just sitting at their house looking for ways to get out of their situation to help their situation better. Like, I don't want to have to do this. Anyways, if AI had been around then, even 5 years ago, imagine what types of businesses would be here today, like the different
yeah,
types of businesses. And I only say that to segue into today, the things that Jess and I use it for. It's in the what I like to say is like I like to tell people to sit there and imagine like it's your business partner, okay, or a pal from back in high school that you're trying to work something out with work on a project with. So we try to tell people to use it to their benefit. Like if you're working on a project and I'm talking to John sitting next to me, right? If I want him to do something a certain way, I need to tell him to do it a certain way. Okay, that's a human being. He doesn't know unless I tell him. Well, we tell people to do the same thing with AI, to imagine it that way, because the AI won't. I also say it'll never replace you. Okay, AI is never going to replace you. It's only going to help like represent you better. It's going to represent you in a way that you're going to be able to create content faster because it understands what you like to write, what you like to do. It knows you basically. So when you are creating with it, we tell people to approach it with a different mindset of looking at it as a partner versus a tool. It's a great tool, but that little bitty tweak and trying to help people think of it differently, I've noticed it helped me, not only Jess and I, but a couple other people I've been working with recently. So um, good stuff there. Good stuff.
yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, and I use AI in my business now more than ever because there's you know, some points I want to tie into, and then I had some off-brand idea. I can't tell you what it is until it comes out because it's G14 classified. I can't tell you right now.
Oh,
And I I had a idea about something, and then I put it in just to see what would come out. Not only did they give me the process of how to do it, they gave me how to actually connect it all together. And stuff that I never generally thought about, it started coming out the woodworks, and I was like, I have this system, I have this system. And I never wanted to have a business that's you have to go to so many systems and connect so many different things. But it showed me how to connect them all, and now I made it one seamless hub. And I'm so happy. because when I because when I put it, I was just scratching my head. I was like, yeah, I have to go back. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. And when it put it all together, and it gave me a step by step plan, and it gave me how many days or how many hours I would have to do to actually put it all together. That made so much sense to me than just giving me a manual and say, okay, read this, and then you'll learn from reading this, and you got to put it all together yourself. I mean, yeah, you're going to actually put it together yourself, but it helps when you know the steps, to go by, and once you finish doing that, you got a complete business that you actually put together. And like I said, I couldn't be more happier because I would have never done this or never had the thought process of I can build a business.
Yeah.
You know, I
Can
mean,
I run off
I've
of that
had
a little?
yes, you can, yes, you can.
Okay. Yeah.
And
So I love that. Like that is one reason why like AI is just absolutely amazing. Like you have an idea and you just put in a few things and it can spit out like what you could do with it. But the coolest thing is like when you have an idea, you can write it all down. You can make a mind map and do it all in here. And you take a
yeah,
picture of this and
yeah,
upload it into ChatGPT and it will tell you in plain terms what you got. Like it understands.
yeah,
And I have a cool video where I took a picture of like this absolute mess that I made on paper. And I'm like, can you like make this into like a diagram for me? And it spit out this perfect image of a
That's
workflow.
so cool.
It was
yeah,
super
That's
cool.
awesome.
Just that's one thing that we're like huge on is like teaching people how to like simplify and do these like small things. Like it's mind blowing when you like you have this idea or anything like that and you don't realize how simplified you can make it. Just ask ChatGPT or ask Gemini, like
yeah,
whichever one you use. But the reason why I want to also segue into this is is because of something else I'm creating right now. You're talking about like how you have all these different pieces and you're not sure exactly how to put them all together and stuff like that. So in ChatGPT, you can make your own custom GPTs, right? So
yeah,
the thing is, they don't talk to each other that well because of the fact of like privacy policies, because you're allowed to give those GPTs out to the public. So of course they're going to be limited to that chat. So they're not allowed to be able to reach everybody else's. The thing with that is I have created like I call her like I told you before about my AI twin Stephanie. So I call it the Stephanie Hub. So it's Stephanie's talking to you. It's a GPT, but I have 7 GPTs that are connected to one hub.
oh wow,
So yeah, it's pretty amazing, and it's all business related. So you have one that a lead magnet AI, or you have an AI concierge. You got a lead magnet. You have content creation. You have offer AI. Like they all work together. So if you have an idea, you put it in there, and it just spits out this long thing, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
here's a link to this other GPT. Here's a link to your Stephanie offer creation. Now that you have this, let's build out an offer. Let's build out a lead magnet. Let's build out the
yeah,
automation side of things. And it gives you ideas on how to do it. And I have it directed for our other business, or like our main business that we have is through a company called High Level. We white label. I know you know about this as well, Lamont. So
yes,
we
I do.
have, yeah. So we have our white labeled version. So we have it like also like putting in little hints and stuff, being like this, everything that you're doing can all be done with this one system. So talk to Jess and Phil, and it will link our website in there and everything like that. But it will still build everything out for you. And you're like, if you need help, you can also go to this side or that way. And it's pretty cool how you can really maneuver and manipulate AI in that way. So that is something that's coming up. It's not completely dialed in yet. My AI Stephanie Hub, anyway. But it is that is something that I know that Bob just dropped in our link there. That link there, it gets us into a community that Phil has built out a Facebook community. It's called AI Growth Hub. That link will take you to a landing page, and inside of this Facebook community, though, we drop that kind of stuff in there. That AI hub that I'm building out, that's going to pretty much help build your business for you. You got an idea, you just put it in there, and it's going to tell you step by step how to build it.
That's very
Yeah,
cool.
and that's awesome, super awesome. And I have a version of what you just said on Go High Level, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And I tell you, if it wasn't for that, I still would have been behind the eight ball, still trying to learn. I mean, it's forever learning, but my learning curve is a little bit faster now, you know. And implementation loves speed or money loves speed, however you want to say it, but I'm going faster than ever before and I'm building things and then I'm looking at it and I'm like, I look back at how long it took and how the process works and how well off it is. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like Phil said, if this was like even 5 years ago, I don't know where I would be today. It wouldn't be here. I'll be on the island somewhere, working on my next SaaS product. And and that's one of the biggest things now because there's SaaS products popping up every day now, every day. You can get ChatGPT to just build that for you, and then it goes well. Let's just say I'm more in the mindset of what is it called, the when you sell your company. Um, I can't get the term right now, but I'm into building things that I know that's going to be profitable for the community as well as the community, but other personnel as well. And I'm looking to sell. I'm building to sell. Because I don't want to work forever. But if I can build these little processes here, here, and here using AI, which is phenomenal, by the way, I'm gonna keep on doing that, and it's
You're
only going
talking
to get better.
you're talking about exits.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the word. That's the word. But I get so excited with it, I forget about the word exit because if this thing that I'm currently building right now, like I said, it's G14 classified. I can't give you too much information about it
All good.
because
I
I want to cross all the T's and dot the I's before I put it out there.
Right? Okay, so that I want to go
Sounds
off of
like
that a
me.
little bit too because of the fact
Hmm.
that okay, AI, ChatGPT can take you down so many amazing rabbit holes. It is programmed to be super polite and encouraging, and
Yep.
it can hallucinate and it can take you down like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. You're gonna be
Yeah.
like a superstar if you get this out. We're gonna do it by this and that and other thing. And you know what? You're like halfway through and you're like, okay, well, this step, let's go there. And they're like, yeah, I can't do that. It's like what?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just amping you up because I'm so like I want you to keep going, but yeah, no, I can't do that. What the hell?
Yeah, but
So
you got to slide in some other prompts and then you get around it
right, so
in,
that's what
in
I
a
was
way or
gonna
two.
say. Like, this is also something that Phil's been like pushing on his lives. He's got this wicked document. It's like 10 questions. It tells you like how to like answer these questions, and it will be able to train your GPT in your voice. But at the end of it, I
Hmm.
added this like little bonus prompts, and they're hilarious because this is something that maybe you should throw in there too, Lamont, just in case. It's like I act like my best friend that has 2 drinks in at the end or at a night, and just tell me what is wrong with my idea. Brutal
That's
best friend
brilliant.
that's 2 drinks in. What's wrong with my idea?
That's absolutely brilliant. The thing that really grinds my gears, especially when it comes to like AI, is that people use AI as a can opener, but then go and try to like hammer a nail with it, and it's like, dude, like, what are you doing? And it's so
Uh,
like repetitive. You see it all the time. Like it's just like loaded in my Facebook feed, and it's like, come on, like you can obviously tell you're using ChatGPT, and you're not
yeah,
using it what it's intended for. It's like
Yeah.
once you assign a role to ChatGPT, it opens up so many doors, and people don't get that. They're like, "Oh, ChatGPT is gonna make things better for me." They may just type in this like half sentence prompt, and then they copy and paste it, and it's like, come on, guys, get with it. So, mindset marketers, what's the idea? Like, where did the name originate from? Because I absolutely love the title, mindset marketers.
Can I go off of that one a little bit? I know.
Go for it.
yeah, of
This was
course.
her. This was. I'll start by saying this was all based upon her and getting her mindset right because she also helped me quit drinking and things like that. So it's all about mindset. So I'll let her roll with it.
All right. So when Phil and I met online, we were both down an entrepreneurial like path where we're learning. It was like a school, and we were getting into all that stuff. And then I went down another route where I was an affiliate for this one company, and I was helping them out. I was making good money, and that's when he reached out to me, and then we connected. He's like, I want to be a part of that. And then we got to become really good friends that way. And I started taking a certain direction when I was in this group in this company. And a lot of people kept coming to me because I always had my voice was coming out where I was speaking on meditation. Like I was hopping on the calls and I was doing meditations live. I was trying to like really get into like it's all about your mindset and stuff like this. And I kind of wanted a nickname, and I didn't really request it or talk about it. Just Phil came up with it. He's like, you know what? You're like the mindset marketer. I'm like, I like that. And so I started doing content for this group and stuff. I'm like, hey, I'm Jessica, the mindset marketer. And like I just started naming myself that. And then me and Phil, we got closer and closer together. And we said, like, you know what? We're gonna like build a company together, and we're gonna build a life together. And I'm like, now I'm like, you're we're not just one person anymore. We're two, or not two people. We're two people in one. And I'm like, you have to be with me on that. So we're the mindset marketers.
That's
See,
awesome.
and that works because as long as you got the support, between you two, the sky's the limit. Not even the sky. And that's a lot to talk about because we all started as whether we started in sales and then we became affiliates and then we came into the digital marketer era and then one thing led to another. There's steps in that, but if you don't have the right mindset, it's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. And a lot of people still face with that today because they said, okay, they start with a good mindset. Okay, I have an idea and I want to do this and I want to do that. And then when they figure out it's a lot of work and the journey is a little bit too long, they quit, you know? And mindset is a big part of what I do. And even if I bring anybody in my business, I teach them the mindset part first. Because if you can't get through that, the next, let's say 2-3 months, you're not gonna survive that because, you
No.
know, you're at a level that you can't match. And you just say, okay, I'm stuck at this level and I'm comfortable at this level and that's it. You gotta step outside that box every now and then, but only your mindset can get you there. Because if you don't have it, stuck like Chuck is what I call him.
Stuck like
Yeah.
Chuck.
Yeah.
When we first started out, caps and conversations, it was all about that because like we wanted to take people through a journey, right? The journey
Yeah.
that like, okay, yes, you have the idea that you want to become an entrepreneur and work for yourself, but if your noodle is not ready for it, you better hang on to that job because
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
gonna make it. You are totally not gonna make it. So that's why like I fell in love with like the mindset marketers. Like you two, combined together, making a vision work, making a dream happen. Providing a
That's
great
awesome.
service for a lot of people. Yeah, man, that's genuine. That's absolutely genuine. The way you guys light up, when you guys talk about each other's stories, that's really cool. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm looking too hard
No,
into
that's
it, but this is all
no,
being
No,
no,
spoken.
no,
I like
no.
that.
I love
Great
it.
love. It's
I'm not
exactly how we
editing
want
that
it to
out
come
either.
across.
And that's the biggest thing. People got this notion that I want to make X amount of money. Let's just start there. I want to make X amount of money, and I got this program, and I can sell it for this much. And nobody really buys programs or anything like that. People buy into people. Okay. And if you come off genuine and authentic, then I'm going to cling to you a lot more than just say, hey, I got this program. You can make this amount of money. I don't care how much money I make. I mean, I do, but if you're not making that amount of money, then you can't tell me I can make that amount of money. It's disclaimers that you have to put out. But me, I've been seasoned. I've been in the game for a while. The quickest way for me to get with somebody is to have a conversation or I can relate, or I can resonate, or I can feel the authenticity that you bring when we have these conversations. People don't even want to have conversations anymore, and they so quick to say, okay, yeah, by this time next year you could be in six figures. I was like, yeah, but let's talk about today. I'm not thinking about next year right now. Let me get my foot in the door first, and you know, let me know what I can expect, in the next couple of days or the next couple of weeks or the next couple of months. Feed me with a short handled spoon. Don't give me an idea that I already got in the back of my brain that I know might not work because my mindset is not caught up with it yet. So authenticity, genuinity, your mindset. You need to have those three, and if you can't, I can tell you right now, I've been in business for years, or so I say. But the first 5 6 years, I didn't make any money at all, because I didn't have the right mindset. I was just going by, well, I'll throw you a screenshot of this person making $6 million and $7 million, and I haven't made a dime. And people can see through that, just like they can see when you type something in ChatGPT and just throw out a content post and be like, seriously, seriously. I mean, word for word, but sometimes you have to add that human element into it. And once you do that, then of course AI will work with you and it will work for you. So I
Yeah,
really
which
don't
is
have a question. I'm just so happy that I found some genuine marketers that's actually you know doing something that's helping people, that can show you how AI really works. Other than AI sucks. It's just something on the market that they just want to take my money every month, but you're paying for something that you don't even use right now, and
mm,
you happy with that? Okay, stay over there, and I'll stay over here. I'll talk to my genuine people, my authentic people, and I'm fine in this lane. But I can't. My mindset is now that I can't deal with a lot of negativity or a lot of people that just can't cultivate their mindset. Once I see that happening, then I was like, okay, that's just going to drag me down. Let me go over here.
yeah,
You know?
that's
Yeah,
where you got to step away from that.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's toxic. It's toxic when you have people
It's
around you
very
that just,
toxic.
and unfortunately, like we're human, and we tend to latch on to things before we start to realize how it
Yeah,
affects us and retract from it.
yeah,
It sucks because like we got like this plan and we're going all happy go lucky, and then here comes your friend and poof, you got a flat tire. And it's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
that's not my friend. That's not my friend. It's like you got to get out of my life, because we
yeah.
all have goals. We all have goals we want to reach.
Yeah, it's
So
actually very difficult too when you're going down this route and you're changing your mindset. You're looking after yourself because you will lose friends. They're not.
Yeah.
You always hear that, like the five people you surround yourself with most. Like, you know what? They don't have to be your person that like comes and goes for coffee with you. They can be online people too. Whoever you
Yeah.
speak to and like hang out with the most, like those five people, like you've probably heard that so many times. That's You're going to be the average of that, right? So
Yeah.
when I started this journey and then getting into the mindset side of things, like I had to take out a lot of those people, and then things started to align a lot quicker. And then Phil came into my life, and like you just have to have that mindset first, and it is hard. It's not an easy path by any means, but it's worth it.
Oh, it's so
so
worth it. It's so worth it.
Phil, you've been mighty quiet over there. If you don't mind, I have a question for you.
Yeah, bring it
Like
on. I'm just chilling. What's up?
like when you got into all of this, like what was your underlying why? Like what really like it can't just be, the 16 years that you dedicated to a company. There had to be more. Like what more sustenance was there?
Yeah, I think it was to if if you want me to go real deep, I can. I can absolutely get real deep on this.
Go
I
for it.
think
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Go deep. Go
yeah,
deep.
I think it boils down to my mom worked for Costco also, right? So she's a big reason why I got the job there. And obviously, it's my mother. I love her to death. She passed away. It'll be 2 years ago in June, but she passed away from dementia, right? So she had the type of dementia. It was called Lewy body's dementia, and I always wanted to make people more aware of that. This is like my big why. I want to be able to create a place, if it's a community or just like a helpline or something, to where people can call in, no charge. And if their families need assistance dealing with things like this, because I know my family we had a rough time of dealing with that. We went through the simple, or not simple things, but the stuff like, why us? Why did this happen to mom?
Yeah.
Well, it was either keep going down that path and just being upset about it, which, yeah, it sucks. I don't take it lightly. Or take it as like a driving force to eventually help others deal with that, because you've been through that. So even Jess's grandfather, I believe, had dementia, and we both just have this thing where I'm not sure exactly which country, Lamont, you may know. I believe it's in Europe, or it might be in I don't know. Regardless, there's a community somewhere where people can bring their family members and they just live there. Like, they live in this community. It's all for people who have Alzheimer's. But the people in the town are actually hired actors, essentially.
Oh,
So
Oh
they
wow.
create the same environment for these people every single day of their life to try to keep them
Like
less
the Truman
confused.
Show?
I get very similar. I guess that's a great comparison. A friend of
Are
mine told
you
me,
serious?
yeah, a friend of
That's
mine told me about
amazing.
that. It is crazy. So that is a big, big vision and a why. But I would love to have something like that in the States, because
Just
I mean, I'm
imagine Jim Carrey with dementia,
yeah,
though.
yeah.
No, not like I'm not. But that's the entire. Has any? Have you guys seen the Truman Show? Tell me
it's
you've
been
seen
a
it. Yeah,
That's
'cause
why I just
long,
said
long time.
Jim
Yeah,
Carrey. Imagine Jim Carrey with
yeah,
dementia, though. See, he's smart. He's figuring it out.
yeah. That's absolutely insane. That is crazy.
oh,
That's
I want to
pretty
say
cool.
it's in Sweden
And
or
I keep saying
somewhere.
that. I keep wanting to tell Phil, like, when we're talking about that, we're going to make a bunch of memory lane cities.
Yeah, call it Memory
Dude,
Yeah,
Lane.
Phil, if you find that, please send it over to me. Like the link, they have to have something. I really want to dive further into that. That sounds absolutely amazing to help out.
that's pretty
Somebody who
cool.
has
And that's the first I've heard of it. Actually being real.
I think our buddy
Not the
Liam,
show,
wasn't it?
but
Yeah, it's in somewhere in Europe, I believe. So
see if
I'll
we
look
can
it
look
up,
that
and
up
I'll
around
I'll
here.
definitely just like type in dementia town or dementia city, or write a note
okay.
down. But yeah, a guy we learned from coming up through networking, knowing him that way, he told me about it one day on a call. We were on a big Zoom call with a bunch of people from a different program, and um, he's the one who mentioned it, because we were kind of talking on the same topic here, and I was telling him about mom. So now that's like a real big vision goal of why. Like, when things get really, really tough, right above my computer desk, I have a frame of her and like pictures of me and her, of me growing up, and then her funeral program is in the center of it, like birth date and death date. So if I ever sit up there and I'm having a rough go at it, I just look up and keep pushing, you know.
There you
Yeah,
go. There you go. That's awesome.
eyes are on the target.
That's yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome. Like I absolutely love that. I really wasn't expecting that deep of an answer, but you really, man.
Yeah, I take
Whew.
it there sometimes. I could take it there. We didn't expect that to happen to mom. I still struggle with it. I don't think it'll ever get
Yeah,
easy, but
it probably will never get easy, but it's good to know that whenever you think about it and you look at those pictures, you can feel a good vibe from it, and you can move on from there. It's just like it's set in stone. Keep moving, and as long as you see that, that's going to be whenever you have your down days and you sit at your computer and be like, you know what, I had enough, and then you just look up, and that's got to be pretty awesome to you really don't need extra from anybody to say, okay, well, maybe you take a break, and all you need to just look up and you'll find an answer because that probably speaks to you at the moment, And like I said, that's you speaking with the afterlife in some ways, and that's probably one of the ways you can do it. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
I'm not in that realm yet, but it probably helps out more than you know.
there's
So,
definitely feelings that come about me when I'm sitting
yeah,
there in a good type of way. So
yeah.
it's good
That's
stuff.
awesome.
When,
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Dementia villages. This is like absolutely mind blowing for me because like I had no idea that humanity was capable of such, awesomeness.
Hmm.
This is great.
Good
This is
stuff.
great.
We want
All
to
of the
do.
help and support.
Yeah, we want to do
yeah,
that in near towns where I grew up and where she grew up too, and just kind of start it there and expand it.
So this is absolutely non-existent in the United States.
At through any of my research, yes, completely non-existent. Never found anything in the state.
Wow.
That's not to
Wow.
say they're just like tiny little places, but
yeah.
I've never seen anything.
That's
Yeah, because
awesome.
they got like a number of things over here that's holistically, started off with, and because I didn't know about anything holistic when I was in the states. As of late, it is now, but not like it is over here because I got almost a whole knee reconstructed. Just holistically. You know, I,
Cool.
I was needing knee surgery. It's not going to last
But
forever, of course. But I went to a sports doctor and he was like, here's two things. You can have surgery, they can, you know, mend and, fix and repair and, it's not going to last. Or you can go over here and talk to this doctor and there's some other kind of treatment. I was like, other kind of treatment? There's only surgery. At least I thought. There's more. There's more. And this is just with my knee. I just scratched the surface. There's so many other things out here that I haven't even looked at yet, you know? But it just goes to show you that if you're not aware of these things, you'll never know. Because just like
yeah,
you said, this is the first
absolutely.
time I've heard of it too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know anything about that.
It's
But
So
crazy.
in certain
does
places you go, there's different things that can happen. So,
does big pharma exist out there in Germany? Like, isn't
nah.
Pfizer like you
No,
guys?
no. The only time Pfizer was here running thing is when they was trying to come up with the COVID shots and stuff like that.
Ah,
You know, they still give you ibuprofen for my back is hurting like crazy, and I'm thinking, okay, you can give me a cortisone shot. They were like, or we can give you this ibuprofen and you can go sit home for a couple of weeks and then you feel better. But they really controlled on the over the counter measures of drugs and stuff like that. So you know
that's cool.
unless it's something that you detrimentally ill from, you're not going to get it.
All right, guys. So I want to ask one, kind of thing here. This is piggybacking off of Lamont's approach to kind of closing the show out a bit. Um, Phil, Jessica, like, what's one piece of advice that you would give to anybody who's like stuck on the sidelines trying to make it out, to branch out on their own, to be an entrepreneur and be smart with it? Not both at the same time, please. One at a time.
All right, he goes first then.
I would say somebody that's just starting out to study your mentors. Find some mentors that you resonate with and study them, watch their content, not to jump feet first into spending too much money or anything like that. Come up with ideas. Study your mentor, come up with ideas, see what resonates with you, and then hop into AI and have a conversation with your AI and see if the ideas that are coming up in your mind are good ideas. Get it to be truthful with you and make a plan, and then reach out
Yeah.
to those said mentors and see if maybe you can go that down that route. But yeah.
Awesome. Phil?
I think she said it very well, but to add one thing on top of that is just don't be afraid. And you don't have to leave your job to start. People see that. I don't like that kind of marketing when people do that, but
Yeah.
You don't have to leave your job to start. You can start by little steps every day. If you take 30 minutes to an hour and just do something, like quit talking about it, just do it. I'm a straight shooter, and like I'm gonna like just do it. Like, get her done. So
I don't remember what the commercial was for, but I saw it recently, and it's like this guy you can see like time spanning like over 30 years, and he's like at a barber shop or getting his car washed or something else, and he's like, we're finally gonna work on that kitchen today.
Mm.
yeah,
And he goes on for 30 years, and he's like, and it's like I understand that fear is so
Yeah.
paralyzing. It's so paralyzing,
It's
but to get
crippling.
out there and do it,
Yeah,
and
have
the
that
fact that you don't have to leave your job. Go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, have that conversation with yourself if you were on your deathbed.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
like, what did you miss out on? What do you not like regrets? You should never have regrets because everything you ever done is about a learning experience. But something
Yeah.
like that, like what would you have that conversation with your person on your deathbed, right? What was one thing that you wish you did? Well, stop waiting until you're at that point. Just do it. Do
Yeah.
the damn thing.
Yeah.
Do it.
I drink out this glass every day because I'm a football coach, and it's game day. I don't know if you can see that, but
yeah.
it's game day every day for me. It's game day.
That's
I
cool.
approach life that way. I get up in the morning that way, whether I feel like doing something or not. I just push through it. But once I get started, it's hard to turn off.
All right.
For me. And I can sit up here from sun up to sundown if my kids are not, screaming at the top of their lungs. But other than that, I'm plugged in,
Gotta be.
And no, I'm not AI. I'm real human. I'm not plugged in like that. But fear is crippling, and if you can get by that fear, or you can get some help getting over that fear, do it. You should.
Awesome. Well, Jessica, Phil, thank you very much for hanging out with us today. We're gonna pop you in the back room for a little bit, and we'll see you in just a moment. Okay?
Sounds
Sounds
great.
good. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it. Man, this is awesome, man. And I got more friends now. I got more friends.
We got more friends.
Yep.
No,
Now
man,
all
they're
we
they're
need to
really
do is-
cool. They're really cool couple, man. They are doing it.
They are.
They are doing it.
They are. And it's you don't see that much nowadays. You'll see either one person or another person, but you'll never see two people get together. I mean, I've seen groups before,
Yeah.
but once two people and they align with the same energy or they align with the same kind of mindset, they become an unstoppable force.
Absolutely.
And
The fact
I
that they
like
are
seeing
just
things like that.
so well in tune with each other, like
Yeah.
the way that they transition between who answers, and it's just it's almost magical, because seeing that
Yeah.
type of unison, it's really
Mhm.
hard to come by. You see
It
a
is.
lot of marriages fail nowadays because there just wasn't that unison from the get,
Yeah.
and it looks
Yeah.
like they got it going on. They got it going on.
Well, I can tell you why mine didn't work out. But we'll save that for another time, another episode.
Yeah, that's a therapy session right there.
Yeah, we're gonna save that for season 85, episode
What?
30.
I'm gonna write that one down.
Yeah, well, we're gonna be further on in the AI cycle when that happens. Then we don't even have to do this anymore. We're just gonna. I don't know how it's gonna end up 10 years from now, but AI is gonna be a bit different as far as video
think
and
so.
everything else. But this was a good conversation, and I hope the takeaway, if anybody sees this, when they see this, is step by step, take it day by day, but you have to get over that fear, and you have to have that mindset to continue on. Because if without the mindset, none of this works. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how much process you got. I don't care if your program is as Snoop Dogg would say, the shiznit. It's not going to work without a mindset.
Hey, do you know why Snoop Dogg walks around with an umbrella all the time?
Why? For shizzle.
For drizzle.
Oh, you boy. And just like that, my name is Lamont Braithwaite, your metric specialist.
And I'm Bob
signing
G.
off today.
And I'm Bob G, your website specialist. Oh man, keep your hats on and the conversation's flowing. We'll see you next week.
See you guys. Oh,